What's up, YouTube? I hope you're having the best day today. Today I'll be going over my UFC 239 card picks. What makes me the best MMA predictor on YouTube? I usually pick, I would say, around 95% of the time based on vibes and who I want to win. 5% of the time I use my actual brain. First fight would be going over. I won't be going over every fight, by the way, just the fights I find the most interesting. First fight we'll be going over is Gable Steveson, the loophole, versus Elisha Ellison. Now, do I think Gable is this insane favorite that we should make him a 400 to 100 favorite against? No, I don't. I think their striking is pretty similar. If you've seen Gable's last fight where he took a spinning wheel kick to the face, his striking isn't very good, and that's where I think this fight's going to be close for the most part on like the first couple of minutes of the fight. But I think Elisha Ellison's going to be thinking about that grappling threat, and Gable's going to catch him with a gnarly overhand right or hook and knock out Elisha Ellison in the first round. So round one knockout for Gable Steveson. Look at that. Who does that? Who does this? Insane editing. Anyways, next fight we'll be going over. Read that real quick. Nikita Krylov versus Robert Whittaker. This is a real pick of Robert Whittaker, by the way, at 205. This is not AI generated at all. Now, I think Robert Whittaker is better everywhere on the feet than Nikita Krylov. He's faster, better technically, but I think Nikita does have the power advantage. So this is a hard fight for me to predict because I really do think Robert Whittaker is better, and who will be piecing up Nikita Krylov for the most part on the feet. But what worries me about this fight is Nikita Krylov is going to catch him on the chin with a big shot. Robert Whittaker doesn't have the best chin at 205. Maybe with the added weights, he's going to have better chin, but I'm not really confident in that. That being said, I think Bobby Knuckles is going to beat Nikita Krylov by decision. I think this fight's going to go very similarly to the Paulo Costa fight, or maybe Bobby Knuckles gets hurt pretty badly in one exchange, but he's going to keep his composure and find a way to beat Nikita Krylov and keep his distance and keep himself out of danger for the most part. So I think he's going to win probably a 29-28 score. I can see a late finish, but I'm not counting on it because Bobby Knuckles hasn't really finished anyone besides Ikram Aliskerov. He doesn't have that much power. Maybe at 205 he's going to have a one-shot knockout power, but I kind of doubt it. Alright, I'm back, guys. Sorry for that cut. My mom was yelling at me because I probably took the chicken out the freezer. Anyways, like I was saying, I think Bobby Green is going to drag this fight out into the later part of round one, maybe even into round two, and knock out Terrence McKinney. Terrence McKinney is the definition of a glass cannon. This is a very dangerous fight for Bobby Green, though, because he doesn't have the best chin himself, but he is a veteran in the game. It's where I think he's going to win this fight by round 1/2 knockout. I can see a submission here, but I think he's going to win by knockout. All right, next fight on the card, we have Loner Kavanagh versus Brandon Royval. I think Brandon Royval is going to lose to Loner Kavanagh by decision. I think Loner Kavanagh is just better everywhere on the feet. He's got more tools than Brandon Royval with the striking. Brandon Royval does have a pretty good reach advantage or pretty good frame and reach advantage over Loner Kavanagh, but Loner Kavanagh is younger, better than Brandon Royval. Brandon's been so many wars, and he just got knocked out in his last fight against Manel Gyno Cop. So I think Loner Kavanagh is going to win this fight by decision. I can see a late finish. I don't think he's going to smoke Brandon Royval in the first round like Cop did to him. So I'll see this fight by a round 3 knockout or decision. Pretty dominant decision or decision. Look at that. Isn't that professional? Look at that. Nice. There we go. Decision. They both fought Brandon Moreno. You can't really use MMA math, but I'm going to do it anyway. Brandon Royval had a closer fight. They had a pretty close fight with Brandon Moreno. But I think Leonard Kavanaugh showed that he was a better striker against someone that fights like Moreno, which Brandon Royval and Moreno do fight. They are both volume boxers. So I think he's shown that, okay, I can deal with this type of striking. And that's why I think he's going to beat Brandon Royval. All right, next fight on the card. Mario Batista versus Corey Sandhagen. All right. I'm going to go with Mario Batista to win this fight. Now, why do I think he's going to win this fight? I don't know. No, but honestly, I think he's going to win this fight because I think he's the better improving mixed martial artist than Corey Sandhagen. I think Hagen has hit a plateau in his career especially after the Merab fight. That was his only title shot. He kind of got dominated by Merab. He got dropped and he lost most of the rounds against Merab except for the first one. And I think Mario Batista showed that he's potential against Umar Nurmagomedov, and I think he's just improving better, more as a mixed martial artist than Corey Sandhagen. I think he's gonna win this fight. I don't think he's gonna finish Corey. I think it's a pretty close fight, honestly. I guess he's going either way, but I think Batista has more momentum going for him right now, and he's going to beat Corey Sandhagen by decision, probably by split. I'm not going to lie to you. This might be one of those Sandhagen fights where he wins or loses by robbery, split decision, or just by decision where he thought he won. So I'm going to say Mario Batista is going to win this fight by decision. All right, guys. Next up on the card, we have Benoit St. Denis versus Paddy Pimblett. Not gonna lie to you, I did 2 takes where I tried to explain why Benoit wins, and both those takes, I fumbled and bumbled over my words. The more I think about this fight and talk about it, I think Paddy's gonna win this fight. Now, do I want Paddy to win this fight? Not really, but I think the constant pressure for Benoit is gonna get him, or is gonna lead to him getting caught in a submission for the most part. I think the offensive grappling is going to give Paddy a lot of issues, but it's also going to give Paddy a lot of openings to submit or reverse Benoit St. Denis. When I was watching Benoit fight Dan Hooker, I was like, wow, Dan Hooker's an idiot, because he did shoot on Benoit. Oh my god, I don't want to get me started on that. When he shot Benoit, top 5 lowest IQ moments in history, by the way. So, and when I was going over who I think is going to win originally, when I thought Benoit was going to win, I thought if anyone's getting finished, it's Benoit. So, and I think if you have that finishing potential and that much of a favor, that arrow was horrible. Holy crap. There we go. If you have that much of a finishing potential of your opponent, you should win the fight. So I'm going to say Paddy Pimblett's going to win this fight by knockout or submission. Wow. I know, what an insane prediction, right? No, I think this fight's going to be a grueling fight. I can see either guy winning this fight, honestly. But I think Paddy's chin is just way better than Benoit's, and his survivability in bad position better than Benoit's as well. So I think this fight's going to be a dog fight for the first 2 rounds, and in the 3rd round, I see Paddy finishing Benoit St. Denis by TKO or submission. Insane prediction, I know. Alright, guys, last fight on the card. McGregor versus Holloway 2. Who do I think is going to win? If I can get the marker tool to work. Alright. I think Conor McGregor is going to win this fight. Now, I know he's been on a 5-year layoff. I know he lost his last fight. He broke his leg or whatever. But guys, I just think he's just gonna get him, dude. No, but really, Conor's a better striker overall than Holloway in their prime, and I think Conor's gonna come back mostly to his prime form. Holloway has been dropped in his last 3 fights. I think Holloway's chin is at its worst it's ever been, and I think McGregor's gonna come out fast early. Holloway's not notoriously, but he's gotten a lot better with it, but he is a slow starter for the most part. So he's going to come out early, He's never fought at 170 before. So I think McGregor's going to win this fight by knockout in the first round. Now, then I wake up, and then Holloway is teeing off of McGregor in round 4 and smashing the shit out of him. No. Honestly, I think McGregor's going to knock out Holloway in the first round. People that are saying that McGregor has no chance have not been watching MMA recently, with Topuria knocking out Gaethje, or Gaethje knocking out Topuria, my apologies, and with Chimaev losing to Strickland. I'm not saying that we're due for a Conor McGregor upset, but people that are saying that McGregor has no chance haven't been watching MMA recently. Anything can happen in MMA with these 4-ounce gloves. There we go. Those 4-ounce gloves. McGregor has got, and there were primes, like prime for prime, McGregor 205 versus Holloway UFC 300. McGregor smokes Holloway, in my opinion. Better striker overall than Holloway, but these guys are kind of both out of their prime for the most part. Holloway's more in their prime. He's been fighting more, but I think McGregor has a layoff. I think he's focused, not more than ever, but he's focused. He's ready to go. I think he's going to knock out Holloway in the first round. All right, everybody. Those are my UFC 329 picks. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a good day.